every day. Some days it's 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time.
Even now?
Even now.
This is how this Bossier Parish school principal and mother has gotten through life over the past year. Tonight, she takes a major first step, stepping out of the darkness to talk publicly about the pain and the heartache of her son's decision to take his life. This is why suicide is called a silent killer. Research shows each year more people commit suicide than all homicide and war deaths combined. And let's be honest, we don't report suicides in the news here in hopes of never glorifying such decisions.
But this growing epidemic needs discussion, and this weekend dozens will gather for the annual Northwest Louisiana Out of the Darkness Walk. It's about outreach and suicide prevention.
And for many, like Waller Elementary School Principal Lisa Nix, it's about being with others who are learning to live after someone else's decision to die.
Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or troubled. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9.
This scripture, one of many that's helped Lisa Nix to just breathe. Her own life, she tells me, has been a struggle to live since the death of her son, James, who would have been 36 years old today.
Oh my gosh. Mostly I've been living in a fog for the past year.
June 26th of last year.
There was no note, so you don't really ever have, closure.
Lisa's little ball player.
They won the state championship when he was 9 and 10.
Who grew up to become a standout teenage athlete.
He played for Airline High School for 4 years. He played center field.
Her only child, who later graduated from college.
We just had a mother-son bond, and he was just my world.
Her James, her blue-eyed sports-loving James, took his own life. So what happened? How did a healthy, happy youngster...
And then in his early to mid-20s, started showing signs of depression.
End up on a path where he felt there was only one remaining choice.
When you have a loved one that dies from suicide, you have so many questions.
Lisa tells me it wasn't long after running the bases and winning a couple of district titles here with Bossier City's Airline Viking baseball team that the pain began to take root. One of James's childhood friends committed suicide. Then a neighborhood friend later died from a serious medical issue. And then while away at college, his roommate was killed in a car crash.
He was in South Louisiana for school, and I did encourage him to go see a counselor because I could tell that he was depressed over it.
As years passed, James managed through it, first through an ADHD diagnosis, then eventually bipolar disorder. But then in the days leading up to her son taking his own life.
That's really, really difficult to talk about.
Lisa addressed her growing concerns with James head on.
I said, I need you too much. I love you. You're my heart, and I'm my only child. And he said, no, Mom, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, he promised me he wasn't going to do, he wasn't having those thoughts. I kept thinking, you promised me, you promised, you promised. This is our 4th grade hallway.
As a school principal, you have to be like a ship's captain, steady as she goes, to keep the school of 500-plus students and faculty in calm waters.
I always thought I was a pretty strong person, but this bring anybody to their knees.
But over the last 15 months, her internal ship has been rocked by denial.
For months and months, I had dreams where, he was really alive.
Followed by anger and attempts to make deals with her faith.
And sometimes I thought my thoughts were irrational, but you bargain. Take me, bring him back. You want him back so bad that you bargain with God.
Today, she credits God.
How are y'all?
The love she receives daily from students and staff at Waller, and family and friends, with keeping the depression from totally sinking her.
I did think about taking my own life, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he would not want me to take that path. But I just wanted the suffering to end. Just living the rest of your life without your child is, it takes your breath away. It takes your breath away.
Saturday morning, Lisa will step on this track at Benton High School, along with so many others.
There's got to be some kind of meaning or something that I can do to help others.
With her sign honoring James held high to share what suicide took away from her.
The walk and the speech are going to be extremely difficult, but I feel that I'm needed, you know, for some reason.
And share how she's keeping it from taking anything else.
Well, the strong and courageous is what I'm working on. It's been a tough journey. Do not be afraid or troubled. The Lord your God is with you, and I do know that.
Now, tomorrow morning at Benton High School track, you were invited to be there just to come with others that are in that same fight, that same emotional struggle. You know that sometimes fight's a little bit more welcoming when you're in numbers. And what's so telling for Lisa, as you heard, as educated and strong-willed as she is, suicide can almost be contagious. I mean, that was her only son. She lost, you know, her short of her husband, the love of her life, her son, and then she felt she didn't want to be on this earth anymore. But she gives all the credit to those coworkers, the Bossier School's front office, those kids, those hugs have been therapy to her, and God that is still working on her as we speak.
Wow. Praying for her and others going through suicide, families going through that.
Tomorrow morning, Benton High School. Come join them.
All right, many are only now starting to pick up the pieces following